All right, what's up, everybody? It's Ethan here, and today I'm coming to you from Lost River State Park near Matthias, West Virginia. Pretty far out in the middle of nowhere, about an hour and a half from me. And as you can see, there's a few other cars parked here, but it's not too busy. There's also some horse stables here, so some of the people parked here for that as well. But I am headed up this way, up the White Oak Trail, and I'll be kind of doing probably about a 7-mile loop today. Gonna probably be somewhere around 1,400 feet of total elevation gain, 14 to 1,500. And I'm gonna be going to at least 2 really epic overlooks. First one's called Cranny Crow, and the second one's called Cheeks Rocks. Both have funny sounding names, but you know, it is what it is. And then possibly to a fire tower as well. Not sure if I'm gonna hike that far or if the fire tower is even accessible, but I'm gonna see about that one as well. Well, this hike's starting off with a nice steep climb. Just leveled out a tiny bit right here. It's a beautiful day, but unfortunately, there is a little bit of a haze right now because of a fire in Shenandoah National Park. So that kind of sucks. Yeah, the air is definitely a little smoky right now, unfortunately. Hopefully the views will still be good. But every time the wind starts blowing a little bit, it does start smelling like a campfire out here. Shenandoah is probably about 40 miles from here as the crow flies. The fire's not like huge at the moment. I think it's like 2,000 acres, and they do have a lot of it contained, but the other day it got really windy and that definitely made it worse. We've been having a lot of high wind days, which definitely was most likely the cause of the fire. That, and I'm assuming someone who was careless with a campfire or burn pit or something. Oh, first little overlook on the trail. This isn't the Cranny Crow Overlook is much better than this, but still a cool little overlook through the trees a little bit there. This is a beautiful area. It looks like it was burned out, which is interesting because I actually hiked this trail about a month ago, and I do not remember it being all, burnt up like this. You can see, like, even on the ground, there's a lot of like soot, and it's all charred up. It's quite weird. I'm not sure what the deal with that is. I'm gonna have to look into that, because like I said, I really do not remember it looking like that before. And the last time I was here, like I said, it was only like a month ago. It wasn't that long ago. Okay, well, I know I'm not crazy. There was a little structure here, and it's burned to the ground now. So there was definitely a very recent wildfire here. I never even heard about it. That's kind of crazy. I honestly never even heard that there was a wildfire. But anyway, there's a nice view. So still not at the main overlook, the Cranny Crow Overlook, but just thought I'd stop and point out that really beautiful view there. Trail keeps going up this way. just to get to Cranny Crow, it's about 1,000 feet of elevation gain over like 2.25 miles. So not the easiest hike. I mean, not like insanely difficult, but definitely a fairly strenuous hike. But that's crazy. I mean, now, like I said, I know I'm going to have to look it up once I get cell service, because I know for a fact that there was like a little, you know, kind of open shelter with like a bench in it right here. And I mean, as you can see, it's burned to the ground. So there was definitely a very recent wildfire here, which is crazy to think about, because like I said, I was just here a month ago and it didn't look like this at all. I mean, I'm glad that a lot of the trees are still standing. I don't know how many of them are, you know, going to be able to, you know, are going to be alive, but it seems like about half of the trees made it out without getting too severely burnt. But yeah, wow, that's crazy. That explains why it smells like a campfire here. Dude, it's actively burning down there. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised this trail's even open right now. There's an active fire right there. I mean, I can't see actual flames, but I mean, there's smoke. Where the hell is it? Let me see if I can focus. I mean, you can't really see it now, I guess, but yeah, there's like actively smoke coming up out of the ground right there. That's fucking crazy. So, like I said, I'm kind of surprised this trail is even open. I didn't see any signs at the trailhead saying it was closed, and there is at least one other, like a couple that's out here hiking. So I passed them way earlier. So yeah, this is really weird. All right, well, this amazing group of volunteers over here that's clearing some of this burned up stuff out clued me in on what's going on. By the way, this is the Cranny Crow Overlook. Incredible. Let me jump down and get a better view. Look at that. All right, well, as I was saying earlier, those guys are all a volunteer group, and they're helping clear out a lot of the deadfall and stuff like that, which is really, really cool of them. I don't know how many acres this burned, but apparently during that really windy, I didn't even hear about this fire, which is crazy. The one in Shenandoah I heard about, but not this one. But apparently it's the high winds from last week blew down some power lines and sparked a fire up here, probably in the area where I saw those. I did see some down power lines, and I was like, huh, those must be de-energized. And yeah, I'm guessing that that might have been what started it. So apparently a lot of Lost River State Park got burnt up, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of crazy because, like I said, I mean, I was just here a month ago. I know I've said that like a million times now, but you know, it's just surreal to think that like just a month ago, this place looked quite a bit different than it does now. I mean, luckily it's not, you know, it's not destroyed. So thank God for that. Unfortunately, a few people's houses nearby did get burnt down, so that is very unfortunate. And it looks like the visitor center, a lot of the structures in the park are still standing. that little sign over there in the shape of the state of West Virginia is still standing. However, there was a big shelter right here, and as you can see, I'll get out a little bit so you can see it better, but the stone part of it is left, but all the wood that was built up around it is just, it's all gone. You can even see where, like, you can see where, you know, it's charred up there, and where some of the paint melted and stuff. Crazy. That is just surreal. Well, I mean, this definitely isn't exactly the hike that I was expecting it to be, but I will say that despite the fact that there was literally just a fire here earlier this week, this is a very beautiful spot still. I mean, look at that view. I mean, that is just unbelievable. So over there, that's Virginia in that direction, and Shenandoah National Park. I don't think you can actually see the mountains in Shenandoah from here, but it would, like, if you go, that ridge right there is in Virginia, and there's the Shenandoah Valley on the other side of that, and then on the other side of the Shenandoah Valley is where the national park is. And like I said, there's another fire over there that looks like they've almost got put out, but they're still dealing with that one. And yeah, just crazy. All right, well, as you can see, I'm hiking through more of this burned up area. It looks like mostly the just the floor of the forest got burned up around here. You can see all these plants and everything look like, well, I mean, the bottoms of them did get burnt up, so I don't know. But anyway, all those chainsaws you hear is just people clearing out, you know, deadfall and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm heading down to the next overlook, which is Cheeks Rocks. Not as good of an overlook as Cranny Crow, but still really cool. All right, well, this is overlook number 3 of this hike. Cheeks Rocks. Why is it called Cheeks Rocks? I don't know. But it is beautiful. Not quite as good as Cranny Crow. Cranny Crow's a little higher, so you can see like over this ridge completely and over those trees. But I mean, still an incredible overlook. I mean, look at that view out there. That is really cool. West Virginia is a beautiful state. There's no doubt about that. Tell you what, I still can't believe that this place has just got burnt up. The burn area over here, it's actually a little worse than it was coming up to towards the Cranny Crow Overlook. So there's definitely a lot of it's very burnt up. I think, you know, I mean, give it a couple of years, I think it'll be looking a lot better around here, because it does look like a lot of the trees did survive. I don't think that it looks like, I mean, more than half the trees you know, are still alive. So I don't think, you know, that it's going to be like, this isn't going to be like a, you know, I mean, it's not like a, you know, devastating, you know, earth-shattering fire or anything like that. But still, it is surreal seeing it all burnt up like this after having just seen it recently before it was burnt up. I will say I'm glad I at least got to come out here and hike it one time before the fire happened. All right, so I'm at the next trail intersection. Just coming off the Virginia View Trail. As you can see, still all burnt up over here. Not too horrible, but pretty burnt up. Some sections back there were actually pretty bad. The worst I've seen so far. But anyway, this is the intersection with the Big Ridge Trail. And the Big Ridge Trail will eventually lead around and connect back over to the White Oak Trail that I hiked up to Cranny Crow on. But before I hike back there, I do want to go up. It looks like there's a fire tower or some kind of structure like half a mile up from here. So I just wanted to hike up and check that out and see what's going on up there. I don't know if there's going to be, like, if I'm going to be able to have access to it, or if there's going to be any kind of view or what. But I just want to check it out. All right, well, there's not a fire tower, but there is a campground up here. And you can see there's all these people up here. Those are all the volunteers that were clearing all the burned up brush and all that stuff. But yeah, you can see there's some fire rings. Obviously, you don't want to be using them right now, but there's some fire rings and other stuff here. And this campground actually looks largely untouched, I'm guessing because of how sparse the trees and undergrowth and stuff is. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This is actually only like a quarter mile, maybe like 0.3 miles from that trail split, so not too far. And it looks like I see a sign here that says Scenic Overlook, so I don't know what Scenic Overlook they're talking about. Maybe they're saying to go back towards Cranny Crow, but it just says Scenic Overlook, so I'm guessing that means something nearby. So I'm gonna check this out a little bit, see what I find. All right, well, here's a little Scenic Overlook that sign was talking about. Some grouse down there or something. Not much of one, but I mean, definitely, like, you know, compared to all the other overlooks that I've hiked by today, this is definitely the least impressive one, but still, it's nice to see this. It's not bad. So I'm probably gonna hike back to that campground and then probably start heading back towards the trailhead at this point, finish up that loop. All right, well, so I'm hiking back towards the campground, which is just right over here. Should be noted that you can actually continue if you cross the dirt road. There's another trail on the other side there, and you can actually hike that trail about another 2.5 miles from here, and you'll get to, well, basically the entirety of that trail, you're on what's called the Big Ridge. And there's, I think, from what I've heard, there's some decent views all along the trail while you're hiking along the ridge, but then it ends at like another really dramatic overlook, kind of like Cranny Crow. So that is another hike you can do if you're up here. You can actually hike more directly up to this campground here than the way I did, but obviously you would miss the other two big overlooks, or three, I guess. But that's definitely another cool hike you can do in the park, and from what I've heard, very few people hike over to Big Ridge, so that's definitely one to do if you're looking for some solitude. But I'm not going to do that today because that would end up making this like a 13-mile round trip hike, which is a little too much for me today. But yeah, definitely something that I'd like to do in the future. So I actually attempted to hike in on the Big Ridge Trail a little bit just to check it out. Wasn't going to do the whole thing, but I just wanted to hike on it a little bit, but it's really bad. I mean, there's lots of blowdowns. It's all really burned up here. I mean, this is way, way worse than the area over by Cranny Crow. And they definitely haven't done any trail work on here yet, which, you know, I don't blame them. It's only been, you know, what, like 5 days since the fire happened. So wouldn't expect them to. But either way, this hike is just maybe not the best time to do this. This Big Ridge Trail is, I mean, it's burnt to a crisp out here. So I'm just gonna hike back. I'll hike back to that campground and then make my way back down towards the trailhead, back to that trail junction, and just finish off the loop. Probably gonna end up being about 7 miles total of hiking today, something like that. But yeah, you can see, I mean, there's tons of blowdowns, and I mean, the fire damage here is really bad. It's way worse than any other part of the state park that I've been to. Look at that. Crazy. What is unfortunate is I never got to see this park, Lost River. Never got to see it in the summer when all the leaves were on the trees. But yeah, wow, it's this part of the park is really bad. This is definitely the worst part I've seen. There's some down power lines over there too. By the way, apparently right here, this spot, the campground, is the top of Big Ridge. Even though the overlook's like 2.5 miles in the other direction, I guess this is technically the highest point on the ridge, and it's 3,200 feet, which also makes it the highest point in Lost River State Park. So I unknowingly hiked to the high point of the park. All right, hiking on the Big Ridge Trail. Haven't seen anybody since those people at the campsite, which they actually took off in their trucks before I left. Yeah, this side of the park usually has, from what I mean, the 2 times that I've been here at least, I've noticed pretty much no hikers over here. So they're all, like 99% of people who come here are just going to Cranny Crow. And maybe they'll throw in Cheeks Rocks and then hike back up to Cranny Crow and then back down the trail. But very few people actually do this whole loop or hike back onto the Big Ridge or any of that stuff. So it's cool being in an area where there's not a lot of people, but like I said, unfortunately, it's it's quite different than the last time I was here. Quite different. All right, well, that's Cheeks Rocks up there, actually, the Overlook. And I'm just continuing to hike down the Big Ridge Trail. There's a lot of deadfall, a lot of blowdowns back there, which obviously is due to the fire, and the crews just haven't got a chance to clear this area yet. I'm sure they were much more focused, excuse me, I'm sure they were much more focused on the more heavily traveled trails in the park before getting to some of these more backcountry ones. But, you know, despite the fact that it's all charred and smells like a campfire, this is still a beautiful trail, and it's been a really enjoyable hike. Getting all these views through the trees on most of this trail. And it's nice. I mean, this is a really awesome place, and it's unfortunate that this fire happened, but, you know, I mean, a few years it'll bounce back and look better than it did before, probably. So, you know, fire, I suppose, you know, it was started by power lines, so can't really say that that's natural, but in general, you know, fires do, they're not all bad, I'll say that. And here's another blowdown. All right, well, I've finally got off the Big Ridge Trail. There it is back there, and I'm actually on that dirt road that goes up to that campsite, and as you can see, there's another little smoking spot right there, a little smoldering area right there. So I really hope, it's supposed to rain this afternoon and a little bit tomorrow, so I'm really hoping that the rain puts the rest of this fire out, because you can actually see, if you look over here, this area actually wasn't burned at all. There's no, on the other side of this dirt road, you can see over here on this side, it's all burnt up to a crisp. And then right here in this area, obviously it's all burnt up. But then once you get over there on that side, I started noticing that when I was coming down the trail, I'm like, oh, this side, this is the first area I've seen that doesn't have any fire damage at all. So hopefully, hope to God it stays like that. But anyway, I just have to hike up this dirt road for maybe like a third of a mile, or maybe probably more like a half a mile. And it'll connect back up to the White Oak Trail that I was on at the beginning. And then I'll just hike that back out to the trailhead. Let me get a closer look at this little burning pit right here. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Like I said, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the park is open for hikers right now. You would think when there's still like actively, there's still areas that, you know, there's fucking smoke billowing out of the ground. You would think that they'd still have the park closed, but I guess they're not too concerned about it. All right, well, back in the other part of the burn area on the White Oak Trail again. I think I got about 0.6 miles left to get back to the trailhead from here, so not too far. But this is the trail that I started on when I started the hike. Been hiking for a little over 3 hours so far, so, and I've been taking my time, honestly. I've really been kind of fascinated by the fact that this place just looks vastly different from the last time I was here. But anyway, should be done pretty soon here, and it's all downhill from here now. All right, guys, well, I'm out of the burn area finally. And I am getting back down to the trailhead. You can see the trailhead is right down there. A little horse stable right there. That's where the trailhead is. So that is going to be it for today's hike. Really cool, despite the fact that it was all burned up. Still an absolutely beautiful hike. Definitely, you know, a good hike to do if you're into seeing, like, you know, big dramatic overlooks like that, because there are quite a few of them on this trail. No waterfalls or anything like that, but definitely when it comes to the, you know, view department, this trail really gives you a lot of bang for your buck. So anyway, guys, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And as you guys can tell, I am in West Virginia now. I actually live here. I was kind of waiting to, you know, make that official until, you know, until I had posted all of my European trip videos. But that is official. I'm on the East Coast, so I got a whole new area with lots of hikes and all sorts of different stuff to explore. So be expecting a lot of new videos and a lot of new content. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next adventure.